What is up, guys? It is the Sports Center, Brad Walker, and welcome inside the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, part of NGSC Sports. Guys, please remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. Happy Friday, everyone. Hopefully, as we are getting in the middle part of June, hopefully everyone out there staying safe, getting vaccinated if you would like to. Again, I'm not forcing anyone to go out there and do it. I've gone through. I'm fully vaccinated. If anyone is into getting vaccinated, please go do it as soon as you possibly can. Guys, the Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website, arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And again, welcome in, guys. If this is your first time in here and you missed this show in any part, you can head over right now on my YouTube channel. This is actually being broadcasted on the Sports Center Bradley Walker YouTube channel as we speak. I'm going to see how well we do here on YouTube. I'm not on Facebook this evening. So let me go ahead and see how this is like, see if I can get people to come in here a little bit more easier with that in mind. But then again, guys, like I said, welcome in. If you guys want to see the Walker Report in its entirety, please check out the page, like and subscribe if you please, and share if you need to. But it's on this channel as well. Head over there. All of the past videos of all our past shows are on there. But anyway, guys, welcome inside the Sunshine State Sports Jabber. If this is your first time in here, this is an all Florida sports podcast. And again, I've cut back on teams. I will not. This will probably be one of the last times for a while that I report about NBA basketball because the Heat and Magic are both out of the postseason. Unless something comes up major with both the teams, which I do have some stories for the Heat this evening. That's why they're on here. But unless something comes up, I won't be talking much about them. The Florida Panthers are another team that are out of the playoffs now. So unless something major comes up with them, I won't be talking about them. If I'm missing any events that are happening, please let me know in the comments section that I missed something, and I'll get back to that next week. But I'm going to be talking, mostly about soccer, both the USL and Major League Soccer, hockey, football, both pro and college, and baseball. And that will be where I will. But I'm going to go ahead and guys and start with the Miami Heat. Like I said, guys, I won't be covering much basketball unless there's a big story. So with that in mind, let me go ahead and bring that up. I have two stories revolting around the Miami Heat, and that's why I wanted to bring it up here. Is because there's some big news about the Miami. I guess unless I see anything about the Magic, guys, I will go ahead and do that. This is by Shams Charania. He's a senior lead NBA writer for The Athletic. Heat president Pat Riley has been fined $25,000 for violating the league's anti-tampering rule radio interview regarding LeBron James. So again, he violated a rule. So he has been fined $25,000. So that is not a good sign there. But he has been fined in that process. He has been fined $25,000. So that's interesting to say the least. That he has been hit with that fine for violating the league policy, revolting in a interview. I'm assuming, guys, he must have had contact with LeBron James when he wasn't supposed to be contacting him. I don't know. That I don't know. I don't know the whole story or background behind that. But he has been fined $25,000 for that. The other story, guys, would be about Dwayne Wade, and obviously, if you guys have not known, he has joined the ownership with the Utah Jazz, and he came out with a message for all the Heat fans today. It was announced in April, just a month ago or 2 months ago, that he had purchased ownership stake in the Utah Jazz. The move left some fans feeling like Wade had abandoned Miami and wouldn't associate anymore with the city. In an interview with GQ magazine, the 35-year-old asked about how the fans that feel that way. So here's the quote. No, it doesn't seem silly at all, said Wade. When asked about some Heat fans feeling abandoned by the team legend, as an athlete, you get it. The only thing you can do is live your life and do things for you and your family. The one thing I did for Miami in my 14-and-a-half-year career is give them all I had. They continue to embrace me and my family, even though we're not living in the zip code. The love is always there for me. And I think it's always going to be there for the fans. We experience something real together. It's going to last all of us a lifetime. I get it, man. But I'm not just one person to stay in one place. I'm a butterfly. Man, I'm going to fly. I got to move. I got to go. So this is just the next step in my journey. But all the love to Miami, all love. So again, guys, there is the message directly from Dwayne Wade himself for all the Miami Heat fans who kind of feel abandoned since he since he took an ownership stake with the Utah Jazz. Obviously, what he is saying in that quote is that he's doing this for him and his family. It's the next step in his career. And that, that's interesting, on its own, on its own. But, on the flip side of it, it's very, very interesting to see that he is, that it is that way. I will have to say that it is very, very interesting that people would think that he was abandoning Miami when he won a lot of, 2 championships? There are 3 championships with the Heat. I don't think he's abandoning. I think he's doing what he does. He's moving on. He bought ownership in with Utah, and the Jazz are on a rising streak. In fact, I think they might be playing in the Western Conference Finals this year. So they could be playing for NBA championship later on. I think we talked about it last night on the Walker Report that maybe they're going to be favored to play the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA Finals. So we'll have to wait and see how that all goes down. But those are my Heat. Like I said, guys, I won't be talking about basketball that much unless it's unless there's stories like this where about Dwayne Wade and about Pat Riley. I won't be discussing much basketball until the season comes back around again. And if it does come around again, then I'll be talking about the Heat and the Orlando Magic around draft time. Also around, when their off season begins. I think the new season will begin in October. So we'll be talking about them as we get closer to the season starting. But with that, guys, let's go ahead and move on with that. What I'm going to go ahead now is I'll jump into soccer. So I'm going to start with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who I believe suffered their first loss the other day. Actually, guys, they have a live game as we speak. Let me check in on them. They were playing a live game. So let me see where they are here, what the score is. Kind of give you guys an update on that. They are currently in a live game. It is 1-1 in the 73rd minute of the second half. The goal scored for the Rowdies is by Sebastian Ghizzani at the 34-minute mark. London United, or Loden United, they scored with 4 minutes. They scored early on in the first part of the game. But then again, like I said, guys, I believe the Tampa Bay Rowdies lost their first match. As of right now, they are on top in the Eastern Conference Atlantic. They've played 7 matches. They are 5-1-1. So 1 draw, 1 loss. The team that's behind them has only played 4 matches, and that's Hartford Athletic. They're 3-1-0 with 12 points. So they're behind them. But again, they got 3 matches in hand against the Rowdies as we speak. But let me go ahead and give you guys some news on them. Obviously, right now they're in a live game. It seems to me, guys, that they are going to be able to have full stadium capacity at Al Lang Stadium, and that started tonight. Now, again, if you guys are planning on going to a game, yours truly is hoping to go. It is cash free. So remember, guys, you got to bring your card or pay via, Apple Pay or whatever, Google Pay, but you have to be able to do that. So the match that is going on as we speak had a full stadium crowd that will allow 6,300 fans to Al Lang. The match will be followed by fireworks. The Al Lang box office will open today at 2 p.m. Game days beginning Friday. The stadium remains cash free. The Rowdies are currently 5-1, lead their division, but they are going to have full capacity at Al Lang Field. I'm just hoping, guys, that I can get to a game. That is something that I would like to do. I've never been to a live soccer match, so that would be something that I would love to do. And now that it's full capacity, I might have a better opportunity to do that, and stuff like that. So we'll have to, wait and see how that goes. Speaking of local radio, 95.3 or 620 WDAE, Beckles and Retcher. That's Ian Beckles and Jay Retcher. I suggest, guys, if you have an opportunity to listen to them at 3 o'clock every weekday afternoon, please take a listen to their show. They are both awesome. Basically, that entire radio lineup at 620, starting with T-Crass, Ronnie and T-Crass in the morning, then moving. You have Dan Patrick, but after them, you have the Goon Squad show with Pat Donovan and Aaron Jacobson. That's another great show. And then you have Beckles and Retcher on after them at 3 o'clock. But they talk to USL defender Forrest Lasso. Forrest talks about disappointment for not playing for a USL championship last year. Says the team is definitely past it, but they didn't get over not having the chance to play. He breaks down what happened as COVID affected the team in the league, but he's certainly excited for the return of fans at full capacity tonight. He also talks about the team's character and that they've gotten off to a 5-1 start this season. They interviewed him, guys. Unfortunately, I cannot play the interview on here because I will probably get copyright strikes or a copyright claim, excuse me. So I can't play that clip on here, unfortunately. But then again, they are off to a 5-1 start and are currently it's 1-1 in the second half of that match. So I'm gonna go ahead, guys, and try to in the next couple of weeks maybe try to get tickets to the Rowdies because again I've never been. So let's see if there's a way. I was checking in to see if there was a way to actually watch the game. But I don't see where. Let's see here. I don't see, guys, where you can watch the game live, but that's okay. I was trying to see if I could watch it. But it's still 1-1, guys. In the second half, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that up there. And if anything is to change, I'll go back to the score and see if the Rowdies are either winning or London or Loudon is winning, one of the two. But that is my Rowdies news for this week, guys. So again, I will continue to bring you guys news and stuff about them moving forward. The next team I'm going to cover is the Orlando Pride. This is the ladies soccer team that plays in Orlando, and just like the Rowdies, the Pride are off to also a fantastic start this season. And here are the power rankings, guys, for the NWSL. That's the National Women's Soccer League, if anyone out there is saying that. Right now, number 10 is Kansas City. Number 9 is Racing Louisville. Number 8 is the Red Stars. Chicago, Houston Dash is 7. The OL Reign is 6. Then North Carolina Courage is 3. Gotham SC is 4. Washington Spirit is 3. The Portland Thorns are 2. And the Orlando Pride is number 1 in the NSL Power Rankings. So let's go ahead, guys, and talk a little bit about them. I don't believe they've lost a game this year. I think they've had a draw. I don't think they've lost, though. Orlando Pride signs Kaylee Collins as a national team replacement player. They have signed goalkeeper Kaylee Collins as a head of Pride Sunday's match at Washington Spirit. I believe this was last week, because that says June 4th that she was signed. So this has got to be a little bit back. That's okay. She is a goalkeeper, 5'10", born May 17, 1998, from Clayton, California, and she played at USC, and she is a U.S. citizen, but she is now with the Orlando Pride this year. So let's take a look, guys, at the Pride and see where exactly they let's see here. Let's see where we got here. If we can, that's Orlando City. That's the men's team. All right, so let's see here. I'm trying to, let's see what the standings are for so far in that. Okay, the Orlando Pride guys have played 5 matches, 3 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses. So they've scored 7, only allowed 4 goals. They have a +3 goal deficit, 11 points. They are the top team in the league as we speak. Of the 10 teams that are there, they drew the first match, won 3 in a row, then drew their last match. But they are off to a good start. So now their next match coming up will be on Father's Day. They're in New York playing the Gotham SC. It's a 6 p.m. kick, but that's their next game, guys. It's not until a week from Sunday. So it's on Father's Day is the next time they will play. If you want to go back and take a look, they drew against the Washington Spirit. They beat North Carolina Courage. They beat the Portland Thorns, and they beat Kansas City. And then again, so far, both games with Washington Spirit, they've drew. So later on down the road, let's see if they play Washington anymore. They play the Washington Spirit one more time, and that is on August 22nd. So we'll see if that game comes down to a meeting or something, because it's funny how they drew the first 2 meetings against the Washington Spirit. But they're off to a good start, guys, too. They haven't lost a match, 5 wins, 2 losses, or 5 wins, 2 draws. Excuse me. My apologies, 2 draws. It is still 1-1, guys. They're in the 83rd minute with the Rowdies, so they're still going on. Now, guys, real quickly before I jump into MLS with the Orlando City and Inter Miami, there's not much news on these guys because they're getting ready. Their guys are coming out of their break, so there's really not a lot to talk about with them. But let me go ahead and jump to we'll start with Orlando City. That is the men's team in MLS. So here, guys, are 3 questions coming out of the international break for the Orlando City. Let's take a look, and here are the 3 questions coming out of it. Can Brandon Austin fill in for Pedro Galiz? Is striker help on the way? and which winger will Will Pereira turn to? So these are the three questions coming into the second half, or coming out of the break. So let's see, guys. The Orlando City, the mainland. This is from SP Nation, by the way. This is the station for them. Let me go ahead, guys, and kind of give you an update on Orlando City's record and where they stand. So hang on just a second. Let's see what their record is. Hang on just a second, then I'll bring Lewis on here. Let's see. So far, Orlando City has 7 matches played. They have 3 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss, 8 points. They're third in the Eastern Conference behind the New England Revolution in Philadelphia. They're 5 points behind them. So let me go ahead and, before I get to Miami. Good evening, Lewis.
Yo, how are you?
Good, how are you? I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead.
How did you have only 8 points to be in third place? I mean, that's kind of like maybe it's like a crappy division then.
Yeah, because I think here, let me pull that back up real quick. The team in front of them, I think New England only has like 12 points. Hang on a second. Let me bring that back up, Lewis. I'll let you know what that was. Let's see here. I know they're getting, they like you said last night, they're coming out of their international break. So let me,
yeah.
MLS is coming out. They have 12 points. New England has 17. They've only played 7 matches. Now, New England and Philadelphia both have played 8. So there's a match in hand. I guess just like with hockey, there's a match in hand.
Yes.
They sit. They're third right now behind, like I said, New England and Philadelphia. They're ahead of New York City, Montreal, Columbus, and Nashville in the Eastern Conference. Those are the top 7 teams. Now, is it that only the top 7 teams from each conference go to the playoffs? Is that usually how it? Okay, so that's how MLS works. Okay, so that's new news to me. Because see, I didn't know how their playoff schedule worked.
Well,
okay.
It wasn't always like that in the beginning though. But then again, there weren't many teams back then when it started along. Because well, you know or not, the MLS is not really new. Well, not anymore. It's been around now for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
You have not been in the league for the last 25 years, but some of the teams have. Washington, D.C. is one of the originals. New Jersey is one of the originals, but they were under a different name. But they are one of the original teams. They were the Metro Stars before this new team name. So they've been around. I think the Philly Union's original team as well. LA's original.
The Galaxy, right?
Yeah, LA Galaxy, not the LAFC.
Okay. Because I know LA's got 2 teams. They have LAFC as well.
Miami had a team before, though.
Okay.
When they had Carlos Valderrama.
I remember him. I remember that name. See, I remember that name.
That was on the original Miami team, but that did not go well, in the first go-around.
Okay.
It's surprising because Miami has a high Hispanic population, and yet it just didn't go well.
Well, see, I could see, we've talked about South Florida, with the hockey and everything and basketball. I think this would be a good sport to follow down in South Florida because there is a lot. There's a high.
What I'm saying is, it didn't work the last time in Miami.
In Miami, correct? Yeah. So I don't, now they're coming out of their break too. If you guys don't know, I think they're primarily owned by Beckham, right? Is that who owns Inter Miami?
You mean Beckham like Beckham?
I think, that's a good movie, by the way. He's the primary owner. I don't think he's doing very well from what I've read about him.
No.
Again, here are some. This is from the Miami Herald. This is a local. If you guys don't know what the Miami Herald is, that's a local one in Miami, in South Florida, along with the Sun Sentinels, the other big one that is big in South Florida. It looks like it says. Let's see here. Interleague managing owner Jorge Mas speaking publicly for the first time since Major League Soccer slammed the club with more than a $2 million in fines for roster violations. Has been within the club during an offseason front office shakeup. Self-reported complaints issue with midfielder Balas Matia's contract. Mas conceded the ownership group, not being experts at the minute of the league's complex salary structure, has entrusted player negotiations to former sporting director and chief operating officer Paul McDonough, who parted ways with the team on December 9th of 2020. McDonough has been suspended from all MLS activities through the 2022 season for his part in Inter Miami's missteps. They have replaced him with Chris Henderson from the Seattle Sounders and also has put legal and financial officers in place to ensure roster compliance. So it seems like to me there's some bad juju going on within Miami right now. Now, again, as I reported a couple weeks ago, they are eyeing Lionel Messi. I think he is coming to play for Miami, which will be big. I think that's going to draw a lot of
huge
to Miami, to that particular
team. If you want to get Cristiano Ronaldo over somewhere, that'd be even better.
Well, wouldn't it be something if like Ronaldo came to like Orlando City and you'd have a battle between Miami and Orlando? That would
if he goes anywhere. I mean, you got the two best international soccer players on earth and coming to the MLS. That would be a major boost.
Yeah, because they're both playing in what? What league are they both playing in now?
They're both in. I think they're in Barcelona.
Okay, so are they playing in? They're not playing in the Premier League, right? They're
playing. That's English. That's English.
English. Okay. But again, guys, there's not really a lot to talk about with Orlando City, Inter Miami, because, again, they're coming out of their break. There will be more in the upcoming weeks as they get back to playing soccer. I just happened to catch it on my phone that the Rowdies have taken a 2-1 lead. They're in the extra minutes in front of a full crowd at Al Lang Stadium in St. Petersburg. They opened up the gates to allow 100% capacity, and they're leading 2-1. Again, they lost. Only 6,300. It's not a big soccer.
Okay, so it's that's doable.
They allowed full capacity, so I'm hoping, Lewis, now that they allow full capacity within the next, I would say, month or month and a half, I can go see a game live and kind of say, okay, I went to a game. I would like to go see them play live, just to see a live soccer match.
300 is manageable, I think.
I've never been able to do that, so I'm kind of curious and want to go ahead and go for it. But let me go ahead real quick. And again, guys, my show is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venue. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And then we move on, guys, past there's my soccer talk. We will jump now to baseball talk, and we can start down in Miami since we were just talking about Miami. We can start with the Miami Marlins. Now, I was reading today that there's a possible talk with trading Sterling Marte to the New York Yankees. There have been rumors about that. I don't know what the Yankees would be giving back to the Marlins in a trade, but there have been talks about him because he has not signed a contract extension with the Marlins. So there are rumors that because he has not signed an extension, that he could be moving on, and the Yankees would be one of those teams that would come calling for his services if he was to want to get out of Miami. But let me see what else. Adam Duvall, who the Marlins signed to a 1-year, $5 million deal on the 9th, has slotted right fielder. Eventually, the front office also discussed the possible filling the position with Andrew Benintendi. Wow, he's going to play for the Miami Marlins too? Okay, that's interesting.
I like that.
But that is, there are a bunch of other names that have been thrown around that they're looking to, the trade deadline is coming up, and of course, that is something that we all in baseball fans look forward to see who's going to be traded, if your team is going to give up their players for next year, or if they're going to hang on to them and make a run. Obviously, it's the World Series, and I'm not saying that Miami has a shot at winning the World Series, but it'd be a long shot. If anything, they're still a young team. The Marlins are still a young team. But that's how that goes. But that is my Miami Marlins talk there. And let me go ahead and talk about the other team. And that would be the Rays, who I believe, let's see here.
Yes.
Where are they at right now? I think they're at home against the Baltimore Orioles. So let me see what the score is with them. I think the last time I had checked, they're winning 4-2 through 7.
Winning? Wow.
They are winning. Actually, they're up 5-2. I'm sorry, it's 4-2. I apologize. Right now, guys, the Orioles have 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors. The Rays have 4 runs on 9 hits and 1 error, but they are through 7, and the Rays currently lead 4-2. The Orioles scored 2 runs in the third. In the top of the third, the Rays counter with 1 in the bottom of the inning. The Rays scored 2 runs in the bottom of the fourth and just scored 1 run in the bottom of the 7th to move on to the 8th inning. Now, of course, with them, they are currently in first place within the division. But here is some news about them moving forward. There, articles that I've read today about certain things about what they're going to do for redeveloping the land that the Tropicana Field currently sits on. If you guys don't know what Tropicana Field is,
right,
that's where the Rays play. The Rays did acquire right-handed pitcher Matt Wisler and cash considerations from the San Francisco Giants in exchange for minor league left-handed pitcher Michael Plusvamir to make room on the 40-man roster. Catcher Devon Grillion was designated for assignment. So, and the match has ended, guys. The Rowdies did win 2-1, so they have won their match against London. But here's the thing, guys, with the whole Tropicana Field development. From what I read in the article, Mayor Rick Baker, who is the mayor of the city of St. Petersburg, sorry, not Baker, Rick Kreisman, excuse me, got the wrong mayor there. Kreisman recently declared he will no longer negotiate with the Rays until principal owner Stu Sternberg steps down from managing operations for the team. And let me tell you something right now, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
No.
So now the mayor of St. Petersburg, where the Rays do play their home games, they don't play their home games in Tampa. Everyone is wondering that. They do not play their home games in the city of Tampa. They play them in St. Pete. That stadium is beyond old. It needs to be torn down. They need a new stadium badly. They had, of course, an offer in Ybor City to put the stadium there, and the fans have been arguing back and forth for the last 20 years on getting them a new stadium. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. If not, they're going to be moving. The lease with the stadium is up in 2027. Now, I know people say, oh, that's 6 years away. But you know how fast time goes by? It'll be here before you freaking know it. So there's no way, that's going to go anywhere or not. But right now, Mayor Kreisman has said, I am not going to negotiate with the Rays until Stu Sternberg steps down. So, guys, guess what? We're going to have to get a new ownership because that's not going to happen anytime soon. Now,
could they tear the lease up?
I'm sorry, Lewis?
Could they tear up the lease or no?
No, they're stuck with the lease until 20. They can actually, in 2024, they can go ahead and buy out of the lease in 2024. So that is only 3 years away. So that's a little bit closer than 2027 is. But they have an opportunity to leave out of the lease in 2024. Again, as we've talked before on this show and the other show, they want to move this team to play half in St. Pete or in Tampa and the other half in Montreal. That's what the crazy plan is with that. But here are this article came up today, and it's entitled, it's by Mr. Lizzie of DRB, that's Dre's Bay, that's SB Nation, and it says, "Why are you a Rays fan? Yes, we root for laundry and great players and a savvy front office." That's the article written by that. So here we are now with why they are. So they ask certain people why they are Rays fans, and you have different answers. I've been a Rays fan since before their existence, which I don't know how that would happen, but okay.
Right.
One of them that says it's been a father influence since he's been a young baseball fan. I think that's going to be a lot of answers because baseball fans, for Rays fans, are very, very young. The person who wrote the article said that she became a Rays fan because I moved to Tampa Bay and wanted to feel a connection to a new community. This was the 2005, the green vest for the uniform. The devil had not been exorcised. Aubrey Huff hadn't started tweeting, and Scott Catherine was still a young phenom. Someone somehow stolen from the Mets. That was the old days. By the way, the Rays at one time, guys, used to be called the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and the reason that they changed and got rid of the Devil Ray, and guys, by the way, there's actually an animal called a Devil Ray. That's not made up. There is a ray called a Devil Ray, but they took it away because they felt that the word devil in front of Ray offended many people, so they took the devil out, and now they're just called the Tampa Bay Rays. But it's interesting how a lot of people answer the article. A lot of people, it's family reasons, people moving to Tampa Bay and, growing with the team. So it's different things on how people are Rays fans. Of course, as of right now, the Rays are the best team in the American League East at the current moment. So, and again, this team was in the World Series a year ago, facing the Dodgers. It's interesting that, but guys, here's the issue that I have, or I should say issue, but I would say concern with the Rays is they can't draw anybody, even with the stadium being 100% capacity. Yeah. They're having issues with drawing people. So that's the biggest issue. To get attendance up should be one step that they should be looking at. But we'll see how they're going to do that. I don't know how they're going to do that. That's beyond me. But like I said, guys, they currently lead 4-2 over the Baltimore Orioles in the 8th inning. All right, so let me go ahead, guys, and we will jump to hockey. The Tampa Bay Lightning did advance to the NHL semifinals. They will start at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Game 1 at Amalie Arena against the New York Islanders. That is the same team that they played last year in the semifinals and took care of the Islanders in 6 games. I'm going to say that's probably going to be the same way it's going to be this year as well. I think the Islanders will win at least 2 games. This will be the toughest test the Lightning has had so far. They played against Florida. They played against Carolina. 2 teams that they played against most of the season. Now, this is a team that they did not play all season long because of the in-division games. They didn't play the Islanders. The Islanders played in a different division this year, but they will drop the puck at 3 o'clock this Sunday afternoon. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Now, earlier today, Dougie Hamilton, the defenseman of the Carolina Hurricanes, came out and said that he cannot believe that they lost to a team that is $18 million over the salary cap. Now, we all know how the Lightning did this. Nikita Kucherov did not play all season long. And, guys, by the way, this is not cheating. It's in the CBA. If you don't like it, then change the CBA next year or the next time it's negotiable. Change it in the CBA if that's the case. But the Lightning did not break any rules, guys. They're not breaking rules. Nikita Kucherov came out and responded. He said, "Well, sorry losers will come up with anything to get to make them feel important." So he said that again, the Lightning took out the Carolina Hurricanes in 5. And then again, they are moving on. And the other semifinal guys will be the Vegas Golden Knights against the Montreal Canadiens.
Surprise.
After Las Vegas beat Colorado last night in Game 6 of their series. I would probably say right now, if I had to predict a final, I would predict Tampa Bay versus Vegas in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's just how I would look at it. But you never know. The Islanders could pull off an upset, and who knows? Montreal has beaten 2 teams so far that they didn't think they were going to beat. They beat Toronto, and they beat Winnipeg. So who knows with what Montreal has? But then again, I'll be watching guys on Sunday afternoon at 3:00 when they drop the puck against the Islanders in Game 1.
Yeah, the thing is, it coincided with the Nets game. I got dirty, no good.
Well, so the net. Well, speaking of that, the Nets. Speaking of the Nets, did they win last night?
No, lost by 3.
Lost by 3. Okay. I'm right now, Lewis, watching Atlanta and Philadelphia, and it looks like they're up 21 points. The Philadelphia's up 21.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, we know we can call that.
Yeah, I would say it would be you. Wow, they have George Hill and Dwight Howard. Holy crap!
No, I meant the term that I was looking for.
Okay.
And the term would be.
I would have to say I'd have to say the game is over. I mean, you're
I'm
down.
I'm looking for the right term though, Bradley. I have a term for that.
Okay, go ahead.
A major case of whoop ass.
There you go. I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I like
big,
that.
bold, beautiful capillaries.
I like that. Speaking of that, I know you're Italian. So I remember you mentioned that to me last night that you were Italian. I had homemade pasta for lunch this afternoon. It was very good. It was kind of cool to see they wheel to wheel and then they cut it.
Yes.
And it was very cool to watch them cut pasta. I've never seen that before, but a very just integrate cutting pasta. It was pretty cool.
Mark can save that creature over the back over there.
And watch that.
No, that creature in the back.
Oh, the Jaguar behind me. Yeah. I'll go ahead, guys, and jump to the National Football League. We'll start in Duval County, and that's where the Jacksonville Jaguars. Currently, their owner is trying to redevelop downtown Jacksonville, where their stadium is. And I think it's going very, very well so far. I think the city of Jacksonville is helping the Jaguars revamp their downtown area there in Jacksonville. Of course, they have a new head coach in Urban Meyer. They have Tim Tebow. They have, Trevor Lawrence, the number 1 overall pick. But it seems like to me, from what I'm gathering, that Urban Meyer is testing star wide receiver DJ Chark. He seems to be going after this kid a little bit to kind of get him a little stronger before the season starts. And then, of course, like we did talk that they did sign Tim Tebow for a tight end.
That would be a concern.
The thing, Lewis, is I'm gonna say this about him. Let's see what happens when he has to put pads on. Because again, they're still in training camp. They're not. I don't know if they're in pads yet. I'm assuming they will be.
I think it's pads on TAs.
Okay, so I'm guessing when mini camp starts or when you have to go training camp starts, we'll see how it is with pads.
Yeah, so but the thing I'm thinking is he hasn't played in 7 years. He's 34, so he hasn't played. He hasn't played since then. I just don't know if it's how much of a risk factor it's going to be, or if it was a smart move for him to come back at this point. If it was 5 years ago, it would make a little bit more sense. But now I don't know because the body starts to deteriorate once you hit past 30 anyway.
I think, and you could disagree with me if you want to, but I think the major reason why they brought him back is to put butts in seats. That's just me. I could be wrong, I'm not picking on the Jaguars by any means of the imagination, but I think that's the main reason to put butts in seats.
Well, then why do you think of it before, dummy? Ugh.
Well, I think because he's got ties with Urban Meyer. I think that's one of the major reasons why.
I knew it'd be a catch. Anyway,
that's why, Lewis, I believe, is what's going on in Jacksonville. I think really, in all reality, the reason he came back is because Urban Meyer's the head coach, and Urban knows him from the University of Florida, where they won 2 national championships together.
Right.
So that's why I believe he waited until now to come back. But again, we'll see. Like I said, when he puts pads on, then we'll go ahead and see where he stands as far as his development and what's going to happen with him. What's going to happen, how his season is going to go.
Yeah.
But, we'll have to, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, maybe we're all going to be wrong and he'll end up being a great player at the tight end position. I don't know.
Really unlikely, but
I wish him the best of luck with it. I really honestly do.
Of course.
But, it is what it is. We'll have to, like I said, we'll have to wait until Jacksonville starts their season off and see how he fits in. Yes. Now, the Miami Dolphins will go ahead and move to Miami. They did sign Jalen Phillips, their first overall pick. He got a contract. Let me see there were some notes from head coach Brian Flores. Let me see what he had to say about the final OTA for the Dolphins. So let's see what the takeaways. This is from Sports Illustrated, where this article came from. Let's see here. Flores expects every player to attend the mandatory minicamp next week. Says he's been very happy with attendance and OTAs, which we must say again are voluntary. So again, he is very, very happy with the attendance of the players. Flores says the team saw a wide receiver, Will Fuller, the 5th, before he was signed as a free agent. He added that Fuller also is a team guy, which clearly is important for Flores. That is very, very true because he actually kept the team together. This, again, guys, this is a team that a couple years ago no one wanted to play for, and then last year they went 10-6. So Flores got rid of all the bad apples, kept the guys that wanted to play here and wanted to win, and they missed the playoffs by 1 game, losing to the Buffalo Bills in Week 17 last year. So that it's a much different mindset for the Dolphins moving forward. The Dolphins have talked to their players about vaccines, about the different ones, but ultimately each player's decision. Flores will not reveal who has or has not been vaccinated or the numbers. So that's something that was brought up in camp. Obviously, that probably would be brought up around training camps all throughout the National Football League, I would imagine. Smart, tough, competitive, and talented. Those are all the qualities that Flores says the team saw and why. Oh, Will Fuller, okay. So that is something there. On the issue of leadership, Flores says there's a good amount on the team, despite some veteran leaders who were let go or moved on to another team in the offseason. And I believe one of them went back to New England in Kyle Van Noy, I think, went back to New England. So yes, he left Miami. He was cut. I think the Dolphins cut him.
Yes,
if I remember correctly. So Miami cut him after he was the team captain from the year before. So that's interesting. Again, Miami should be competitive, guys, in the AFC East this year. Buffalo, obviously, I think is still the team to beat. New England got better, but then again, we'll have to see how all those pieces merge together. We don't, can't say anything about that right now because I don't know how all those pieces are going to merge together. The Jets are still a young team. New quarterback with Zach Wilson coming in from BYU. Hopefully, the Jets don't end up doing the same thing to him as they did to who's the quarterback that's in Carolina now? Sam Darnold. Hopefully, they don't do the same thing and ruin his career like they did with Sam Darnold. And again, that's not the Jets organization. That was their head coach. Just going to throw that out there.
He was a bum.
Throw that out there that Adam Gase never should have been a head coach after what he did in Miami. That's just my opinion, guys. And
You're a
I don't.
loser.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes, wholeheartedly. The last team I cover in the National Football League is the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah.
Now, the Bucks and Tom Brady last year knew early that he's going to need off-season knee surgery. I guess the knee had been bothering him most of the season.
Uh-huh.
He obviously played through the pain, which is kind of surprising if you think about that, guys, being at his age, that he would play through the pain. But he's a competitor, as we all know. There are too many people out there that hate him, but he's a competitor at the end of the day. He's an athlete. He knows his vulnerabilities. It looks like Kyle Trask is drawing comparisons to Andrew Luck. That's pretty high expectations. Andrew Luck was a great quarterback out of Stanford and had huge shoes to fill. With Peyton Manning, is it going to be Kyle Trask's turn to fill those shoes when Tom Brady hangs it up? We don't know. Tampa Bay Buccaneers guys have never had a franchise quarterback. They've never signed a quarterback to a second contract. This team has never had a franchise quarterback. Tom Brady's not the franchise quarterback, by the way, guys. He's 40. He's over 40. He's not a franchise quarterback. Is Kyle Trask going to be that guy? I think a lot of people out there are hoping that he's going to be the heir apparent to Tom when Tom finally hangs it up. But again, Brady's looked good at minicamp via head coach Bruce Arians. So again, the Bucs are moving forward. They will begin the season at home against the Dallas Cowboys. That will open up the NFL season on Thursday Night Football. So we'll get to see them right off the bat against the Cowboys. I don't see Chris on here tonight. I hope he comes back on. We can talk about that when we get a little bit closer to the Bucs and the Cowboys playing against each other, because I sure like to get his opinion since he lives in Texas and he's a Cowboys fan. I'd like to get his opinion on how the Cowboys are gearing up, for the Buccaneers to start the season. And as I always do, guys, I'm going to end the show always with talking about college football, and I'll start with the Miami Hurricanes. So far, recruiting is going very well so far for this year and for next year for Miami. Coach Manny Diaz has going very, very well. Now their quarterback, De'Ara King, who tore his ACL in their bowl game, has making big steps in coming back. Again, they're very much hoping that he will be back for the opening game against Alabama. They're going to need him. I'm not saying that they're going to win that football game, but they're really going to need him to help if they don't get blown out. Now here, guys, this is Inside the U, another website, 247sports.com, and this is how Las Vegas has set the ACC win total over-under bet for Miami. It looks like, let's see, they have them as Miami over-under ACC win total of 6 is the third highest line in the conference. So they have them winning just 6 games, but then again, 6 games is enough to get to a bowl game, which is what every college football team is hoping that they can get to, unless you get invited. But normally it takes 6 wins to get to a bowl game. I could see Miami winning 7 or 8 games on their 12-game schedule this year. So we'll see. Again, I watched this team a couple years ago. They started the season off against Florida and gave Florida a ball game a couple years. And then that was with Kyle Trask and Kyle Pitts. By the way, guys, wasn't this year. They were not playing against each other this year. I believe the two teams will be renewing their rivalry in the years to come. But they do play the Florida State Seminoles. I can see Miami beating the Seminoles this year. Yeah. Some people on the flip side will say that Florida State will beat Miami. So we'll have to wait for that particular game to come to be to see how it all breaks down. But I really legitimately can see 6, 7, maybe even an 8th win for Miami this upcoming season. This upcoming college football season. So we'll have to wait and see. We're only, guys, about 3 months away from college football starting up. So we're not that far away from the season starting.
No,
Uh,
that.
no, yeah, it should be and then I guess with college football starting, that only means we're closer to the NFL starting as well. So we get that going, and then of course too, anybody out there that's a high school football fan, also too, high school football will be starting back up in the next couple months as well. So, and yours truly is kind of hoping maybe to go back to some high school football games now that we have clearance of COVID and stuff like that. Hopefully, we can get back to doing that. Let me, guys. I'm going to start with Florida State. I'm not going to start with football. I'm actually going to start with softball. Now, Florida State did play Oklahoma in the College World Series. Unfortunately, the Noles were unable to win 2 games. They did win 1 game in a best of 3. Oklahoma beat them yesterday to win the College World Series, but the Florida State Seminole softball team, give them a lot of props. They got all the way to the World Series. They were in the final thing, so congratulations to them. And, again, just like everything else, recruiting is going well for Coach Norvell and company there. Now, again, as I've saw something this evening about the college football expansion, again, this means that more teams could get in, but I cannot see how the committee would agree to go from 4 teams to 12 teams and make that big of a jump. I would think it would go 4 to 6 or 4 to 8 before it would go 4 to 12. I think that's too quick, too fast, but I'm not the NCAA committee. I don't know how they're thinking because, again, just like everything else, anything that can draw them more money, they're going to do it. That's how it all boils down in collegiate sports. It is whatever makes them more money is what it's going to be. So we'll have to wait and see, how that all breaks down. But, again, I want to throw congratulations out to FSU softball team on being in the College World Series, coming 1 win shy of beating Oklahoma for all the marbles. The next team I'll touch, guys, is the Florida Gators in Gainesville. Here are 3 players that they will be irreplaceable after this season. And actually, it's funny that Adam mentioned last night that he thinks this team's going to take a drop-off. I don't see that happening. I think this team will be maybe better than it was last year because the defense will be better. Emory Jones is the quarterback. He, of course, will be taking over for Kyle Trask as the play caller. Kaylor Elam is a linebacker, I believe. I could be wrong when I say that. The other one is Richard Gorej, and he is an edge rusher. So he is, again, those are the 3 guys that are, after this year goes, when we're done, will be 3-year replacement. Now, again, we'll have to wait and see. I just don't think that the Gators are going to drop off that much this year. But I think he said last night they were going to win 8 games out of 12. I could see 9 or 10. I don't know how they would fall that far back. Now, guys, they did lose $54.5 million last year, their athletic department, due to COVID. So just think about that. They lost $54.5 million with no crowd at the Swamp. So that's interesting to say the least on that. Again, I'm not surprised about that.
No,
I'm actually surprised that number is not bigger, but that's just me. But
it is a little bit, because you think they lose in the multi-hundred millions to lose less than half of that. It is.
I was going to say that number. I thought that number would be way higher than 54.5.
So did I.
Yep. So I think in some cases, just count your lucky blessings. It wasn't higher than the 54.5 million that they lost. I'll go ahead, guys, and jump now to UCF. These boys are in Orlando. Obviously, Gus Malzahn is the head coach. The former Auburn Tiger coach is now there. He has been using their stadium, which is called the Bounce House. If you guys do not know, the stadium literally does bounce. When the crowd gets wild, it does bounce, for real. I'm not kidding with you. I've watched YouTube videos. The stadium does bounce when they get all excited. Now, here's where the college football 12-team thing would come into play. This would be one of those teams that could be impacted by that. Because here's a team that just thinks that they deserve to be in the college football playoff for the last 4 or 5 years. In fact, they even crowned themselves national champions a few years back when Alabama won the national championship. But they crowned themselves that because they figured they were undefeated and never got a chance to play Alabama. So they think that so this is a team that would benefit from an expansion for the college football playoff because them not being in a Power 5 conference, it would help them because I'm sure that they would be one of the 12 teams to be picked by the committee because of their record. Again, we'll have to wait and see when the season comes, if UCF is there undefeated or whatever it might be. We'll have to wait and see. But again, guys, Gus Malzahn has the team believing that they're the best team in the country. That's what he has claimed, that he said that they're the best college football program in the country. So again, we'll have to wait and see when the season starts if that is true. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. First, they have to win their division to win the AAC. I think Cincinnati will have a little bit to say about that since Cincinnati won the conference a year ago. So we'll have to wait and see how they play against the Bearcats. As I always do, guys, I will close the show with the USF Bulls. Now, I'm going to go ahead and there's not really a lot of football talk. Now, this team will be playing tomorrow in the first ever Super Regionals for college baseball. Now, again, they are playing against the heavily favored Texas Longhorns in Texas, but they are there. This is the first time that this team has got to the Super Regionals. It would be interesting and it would be exciting as a USF fan to see them get to Omaha, but it's a tough road. They have a tough road ahead of them to do that. But again, they knocked off the Florida Gators, who are a good baseball team. So who knows what this team has? This team might be heading in the right direction. We'll see. Starting tomorrow, we'll see how they do against the Longhorns.
And either way, it's no bowl.
That's right. Yeah, you're exactly right. There's going to be a bowl either way. Either way, yeah.
Oh, well, you guys didn't know I was going to say that, did you? Come on.
And I'll go ahead and close, guys. They did announce that the home football opener is set for noon against the Florida Gators at Raymond James Stadium. And, guys, guess what? It will be a full house at Raymond James Stadium, which means, guys, there will be all my USF fans, wear your green and gold, get out there and get out there because there's going to be a lot of blue and orange. I'm sorry?
What's the date?
September 11th. It'll be actually the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I cannot believe it's been that long since we went through that horrible day in September that basically shook the entire country to its core. And hopefully, pray to God himself, we don't have to go through another day like that anytime soon.
They'll play week 0.
I think week 0, they play on the road, Lewis, against NC State. Their first game is on the road against.
I thought week 0 was always like that weekend, that last week of August.
Yeah, well, I don't think they play in. Now that you say that, because I think their first game is actually September 4th. So they don't. I don't think. No, September 3rd. It's a Friday night game.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't play in week 0. It'll be week 1. I think. I'm not sure. Usually week 0 is a lot of slack games where you have the small schools playing.
The cream puff games.
Correct. The cream puff games. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. The cream puff games versus the UXCFL. Oh, no.
Yes, yes. If you guys missed that last night, we have we believe that the XFL, CFL, and USFL are all going to combine together, and we were going through a bunch of names for the league. So last night, so in case you guys missed that, head over to this channel.
Thank God.
And watch the show from last night about how we planned out how the calls letters would be for the league if they did all combine together. But as always, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close my show out I want to thank. I don't know if anyone came in here to watch. I want to thank Lewis, as he always does, joining me on Friday night. Again, this has been the Sunshine State Sports Jabber, part of NGSC Sports. Guys, remember the website. It's ngscsports.com. Sunshine State Sports Jabber is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app for the ultimate fan experience at your favorite sports venues. Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? And as always, if you want to go ahead and take the floor and talk to them about your show tomorrow, you may go ahead right now.
It's called UCXFL. Okay. Yeah. Formerly titled it is titled the Enhanced Sports Show. Almost made a Canadian radio station out of it. We'll be on the air 5 to 7 p.m. tomorrow. The number call is 512-543-4662. I'll repeat that again, 512-543-4662. You know we're going to be talking about the playoffs now that we're getting into the good stuff with the NHL going into the third round, NBA, and they're in the thick of the playoffs. We'll do a lot of recapping tomorrow with the recap of the Belmont Stakes that happened last week. I'll have a lot of very interesting questions about. We'll also take care of the college baseball, MLB, and their latest debacle with foreign substances. Oh, this will be fun. And, or maybe not. So we'll have to wait and see. Well, you be the judge of that. I got a lot of interesting questions to give tomorrow as well. So if you got time between 5 and 7, that's p.m., by the way, East Coast time, give the show a call. I'll repeat the number one more time, 512-543-4662. If you call, I guarantee I will get you in, but don't call in the last 5 minutes of the show before I go off, please.
Yeah,
done that.
Yes, guys, please head over there. Lewis does an awesome job with his show on Saturday nights. Before I go, guys, I always do, I want to thank the first responders, doctors and nurses who have taken care of the hospitals, taken care of the people that had COVID, and thank you so much for what you guys do. Also to the men and women of our armed services, both active, retired, and the ones who've left us, thank you for your sacrifice, because I sure wouldn't be able to talk sports 3 days a week or even all week long like we talk. Whether I write or I'm on here with Lewis on Thursday nights or on here on Friday nights, or every once in a while I'll pop in on his show on Saturdays. We wouldn't be able to do all that if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you for your sacrifice. We appreciate that very much. Also to the police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, thank you as well for doing what you do. But guys, I am out of here until next Friday. I'll be back with Lewis on Thursday. On the Walker Report, we'll be discussing the first round of the U.S. Open. As the U.S. Open starts next week, I'm sure Lewis will be recapping the U.S. Open next Saturday on his show as well.
The French Open this week as well for tennis.
Yes, and yes,
I can't pronounce on the women's side. Oh boy, it's gonna be fun tomorrow.
Yeah, I was having issues with trying to pronounce their name last night. So there you go. And Djokovic did advance over Nadal earlier this afternoon. So
4 sets.
Yeah. But guys, until then, I want to say thank you and love all you guys for tuning in. And until next week, I'm gonna say peace.
Dick Clark, so on.